Hey, NFA, no fucking around, money mamas. Dr. Amanda, the money healer here, and it's time for another episode of the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 ways negative self-comparison blocks your money flow. 3 ways negative self-comparison blocks your money flow. And I'm also going to give you tips on what you can do about it. So I want you to think for a minute. Have you ever gotten onto Instagram and looked at other people's posts, those who are like you in your industry, and sat there and thought, oh my God, they're doing so great. Everything they put out is awesome. Look at all the comments they're getting. They must be making, a ton of money, but I'm not. And I feel stuck and I feel less than, and I feel shitty about myself. Does this ever happen to you? Or maybe you're building your website and you're looking at other people's websites and you're going, oh my God, they have so much content and they've been featured in this and that and the other, and I haven't been, so I'm just not good enough. You're probably struggling with what one of my clients in my NFA Money Mama Mastermind said the other day. She called it Comparisonitis. Comparisonitis. I love this because every single entrepreneur I know struggles with this. I was actually on a run with my bestie one day, and she said, what would you say is the most common problem that the women that you work with struggle with? What's the most common problem? And without barely even thinking about it, I said negative self-comparison by far. And the reason is because every person that I've worked with compares themselves to other people, often to see where they're at in the game. They're like, oh, am I doing as well as this person? Am I doing better than this person? And the problem with this is it really causes you to lower your vibe. So today, as we talk about 3 negative self-comparison and how 3 ways that negative self-comparison blocks your money flow, we're going to highlight how this lowers your vibe. And you know me to bring you high vibe tips that help you raise your vibe, because when you raise your vibe, you send out a frequency to the universe that attracts easier money your way. And I'm all about teaching you how to work less, make more, and have fun. And the way to do that is to get into a state of joy. I love this quote by Mark Twain. He says, comparison is the death of joy. Comparison is the death of joy. So if you have a tendency to get onto other people's stuff, products, programs, social media, listen to them on podcasts and compare yourself negatively to them, what you're doing is causing comparisonitis for yourself. And the definition of negative self-comparison is when really at the root of it is that you believe you're not good enough. So what happens is you put yourself in the pit and you pedestalize the other people. Now, this is easy to do because as a person who's growth minded and is most likely working with coaches, hiring people and looking to your outer world to get validation and to see what's going on, it's really easy to see that other people are probably ahead of the game than you, right? The problem here is that most of the time what you're doing is comparing yourself to people that are way ahead of the game. And you're also causing yourself to just doubt and be filled with that zone number 1 problem that I talk about, which is manic imposter zone syndrome, right? So you're going, oh my God, I'm so excited to build my business. So I'm looking everywhere and I'm learning everything and I'm looking at what everyone's doing, but it causes a lot of imposter syndrome. So comparisonitis, or negatively comparing yourself to others, is going to cause big time imposter syndrome. And this is a huge problem for entrepreneurs across the board at every stage of the game. And so I don't want you to struggle with this. And I want you to understand how to start to combat this problem. And combat's such a strong word. I want you to learn how to work with yourself and be more playful and self-loving, because really the antidote to comparisonitis is to start to love yourself more, to learn how to be your own inner cheerleader and how to validate yourself. So you're not looking for the outer world to go, hey, you're good enough, because you got to know you're good enough. And then what happens is you send out that signal to the universe, and then you attract easier money your way because you're not stuck in this place of fear, doubt, uncertainty, and needing other people's validation to tell you you're amazing. And it never works that way, right? Because if you believe you're not good enough and you're looking at everyone else thinking they're better than you, you're going to continuously pit yourself, meaning you pedestalize them and you go, I'm infatuated with you. You're amazing. You're awesome. What you're doing is incredible in the world, but what I'm doing sucks. I'm not as good as you are. And this is a real problem when you're looking at people who are way ahead of the game. I'll share a story. For me, this showed up a lot when I was building my website. In the very, very beginning of my business, I was learning from Dr. John DeMartini. I've had him on podcast episodes. If you go back, this was before it was the Woman Entrepreneur podcast. I've had him on a couple times, and he's one of my greatest mentors. He really, really helped me. And so I even named my company in the way that he did. When I first started NFA Money, it was ABI Coaching, and that stood for the Amanda Barrientos Institute. And I did that because I had been learning a whole bunch from DeMartini, and his company is named the DeMartini Institute. And it was so funny. I can just look back and see all the ways that I was, quote unquote, trying to make my business like his. And I'd go to his website and I'd see he is like prolific. He's been in business for, I think it's 50 years now, 50. So when I started my business, he had been in for like 46 years. And, he had a stellar website, and he had a ton of content, and he is out in the world rocking it because he's been in business for 46 years at the time. And so when I was building my website, I'd compare mine to his and I'd be like, God, mine sucks. And I just really struggled and tweaked. And it's so funny to look back and love myself through it and go, wow, I was really struggling with comparisonitis, and I felt like it needed to be perfect and way better than it needed to be. And in truth, my program that's made me the most money, I never even built a landing page for. I just talked to people. And when I started my first podcast, I just went for it. I launched it in a day because I started to let go of this problem with comparisonitis. One of my favorite mantras to start to combat this is to say, screw perfection, just get started. And let's dive into the 3 reasons why negative self-comparison is blocking your money flow. And I'll give you some tips and pointers to help you overcome it. Because again, like I said, I've never met someone who doesn't struggle with this at different points in along their journey. And even unrelated to business, this could be you looking at your younger version of yourself, thinking you're not as good as you used to be. So you're pitting your current version of yourself and pedestalizing your 20-year version of yourself. Or you're doing the opposite. You're pitting yourself now in comparison to where you think you should be. Or you're telling yourself you're not pretty enough, or you're too old, or you're not smart enough. All of this is a version in your mind. You're comparing yourself to something outside of yourself or a future or past version of yourself and telling yourself you're not good enough. So this is a real inner critic beat up problem. And we got to eliminate this. Okay, so let's dig into reason number 1. So reason number 1 that negative self-comparison is blocking your money flow is because it creates doubt in yourself. Remember, joy is high vibe. Joy comes from feeling aligned, and it comes from trusting yourself. My definition of confidence is to know, love, and trust yourself. And when you know, love, and trust yourself, your comparisonitis is going to be massively minimized, because you'll look at other people and you'll see what they're doing. And instead of negatively comparing yourself to them, you'll be like, I'm awesome. I'm on my way. I'm great. Instead of doubting yourself. So when you're negatively comparing yourself to people, you're doubting yourself. You're causing fear. You're causing resistance. You're causing a low vibrational frequency in yourself, and it creates this desperate energy. And desperate energy is repulsive to money. It's very repellent. And so instead of having it bring easier money your way, you're going to be feeling like you're pushing a boulder up a mountain because you're creating doubt. Doubt causes you to be uncertain and fearful. It causes you to not want to take action, which is tied to number 2. Okay, so reason number 1 is that it creates doubt in yourself. Reason number 2 is that it causes perfectionism and procrastination. So when you're negatively comparing yourself to others, you are going to become overly perfectionist, which causes you to procrastinate. And this ties to that. Oh, I think my internet just timed out. There we go. I think I'm back. This is interesting. For those of you on the podcast, I record these on StreamYard because they broadcast onto YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And every once in a while, I'm noticing when I listen to the podcast that you'll hear my voice time out. And that's the reason why. So I'm hoping you can just fill in where I timed out for a second in your mind. Okay. So when you negatively compare yourself to other people, it causes perfectionism and procrastination. And the example of this is when when I was trying to make my website like Dr. John DeMartini, who has a whole team of people building his website, and he's 46 years into business. It caused me to want to tweak everything and over perfect it and just be like, I was just freaked out looking at what other people were doing. And it caused me to not want to take action and put myself out there, which is a version of procrastination, because I was negatively comparing myself, thinking, well, theirs is so much better. Why me? Why is anyone going to talk to me? Why is anyone going to look at me and want to work with me? Because mine sucks compared to theirs. And so this is a real problem, right? So start using the mantra, screw perfection, just get started. I've put stuff out there now that has typos, that is definitely not perfect. And yet I've still made a business that I love. I get to work with incredible people. My income increases. I do what I love more and more every day. And in that first year, when I went from food stamps to 6 figures, I would have never been able to do that if I had let this negative self-comparison keep me stuck. So just start using the mantra, screw perfection, just get started. Screw perfection, just get started. And if you love that one, put it in the comments. If you're on YouTube, put it in the comments. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, take a screenshot and share it with your peeps and tag me and say, screw perfection, just get started. It's a fun way for us to stay connected and also for me to know that you're getting something out of these episodes. Okay, number 3, and of course I'll recap at the end so we can go over this again. Negative self-comparison blocks your money flow because it makes you afraid to charge what you're worth. Oh, this is such a big one. So remember, when we're talking about stuck points in the on the zone of manifestation business scaling roadmap, when you are stuck in zone number two, the over deliver and undercharge zone, this is what's happening. And it's due to imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome, one of the biggest symptoms is that you're negatively comparing yourself to other people, because you wouldn't feel like an imposter if you're just comparing yourself to yourself, because you are where you're at in the game. Instead, you're noticing the people who are way ahead of you, and then you're feeling like a fraud because in your mind you've created a story that they're better than you. So again, remember, going back to the definition of negative self-comparison, it's believing that you're not good enough and you're pitting yourself and pedestalizing other people. So in this way, you're not going to want to charge what you're worth because you're comparing your prices to the people who are way ahead of you, or you're comparing your prices to let's say even the coaches you're working with. You're going, oh my God, they've been in business for so long and they're doing this, so there's no possible way that I could charge that amount of money. And what you really need to do is drop all of this negative thinking. And so I'm going to sum up these 3 reasons, and then I'm going to give you some action steps to take to help you break through your negative self-comparison. And I promise you can do it, because I've done it and I help people do it. And that's not to say this stuff never comes up. It's going to keep coming up. You're just going to keep using tools to overcome it every time it comes up. That's with anything that I teach you here. I think sometimes people have this perception that I never have money blocks come up, or my life is just 100% peachy, awesome all the time. No, I'm human. Things come up. Like when I'm building out something new and I'm looking at someone who's done a similar thing, and I'm watching them and I'm like, oh my God, they're so amazing. What if I can't do it? That's negative self-comparison, and it comes up. I just use my tools more quickly so that I don't stay stuck there. So remember, no matter where you are at in the game, this isn't about eliminating these things so they never come up, because that would be an unrealistic expectation. Instead, what's going to happen is it comes up and you recognize it more quickly, because you're going to start to train yourself and your brain in the direction of your success and confidence, and then you can move through it a lot more quickly. Okay, so let's recap the 3 reasons that negative self-comparison blocks your money flow. Is number 1, it creates doubt in yourself. Number 2, it causes perfectionism and procrastination. And number 3, it makes you afraid to charge what you're worth. Okay. So the beginning stages here of action steps. First, I want you to go to download the NFA Money Formula. So just go to nfamoneyformula.com, nfamoneyformula.com, and it's going to give you a video and a cheat sheet to help you start to train your brain to believe in yourself. This is a really simple tool. I like to create actionable strategies that are simple to help you start to reprogram your money mindset. Everything I do is about reprogramming your money mindset so that you can make easier money in your zone of manifestation. And that's what the NFA Money Formula will help you do. What this will do is help you recognize when you're stuck, It will help you redirect and reframe your thinking toward the direction you choose to go. And then you repeat to reprogram. That's the simplest version of the NFA money formula, but it gives you a lot more in-depth information and a cheat sheet on how to journal about this and use it on a daily basis. What you want to do here with the NFA money formula is train your brain in the direction of confidence instead of self-doubt, confidence instead of perfectionism, confidence instead of procrastination, confidence in charging what you're worth. Okay, and so you're going to use the NFA money formula to do that. Another awesome resource I have, and this is something that you want to do. I don't care if it's this book list I give you or if it's any book on confidence, money mindset, if it's binge listening to all of my episodes. You know, the Women Entrepreneur Podcast is a rebrand, so we're only on episodes, I believe this is episode 7 right now. Let me look real quick just so I can make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Yes, this is episode 7. And yet I think we're at 219 or 20 downloads now. Or episodes now, because it used to be other podcasts. So you could binge listen, because the stuff that I teach here is timeless. It's mindset work that's going to keep helping you retrain your brain. So read books, listen to podcasts, do everything you can to uplevel your money mindset and gain confidence in yourself to start to become your own greatest cheerleader. So the 12 books, if you go to nfamoney.com/top 12 books, and it's the number 12, top 12 books. So nfamoney.com, top 12 books. You could also go to the womanentrepreneur.podcast.com page, and it's there too. You'll see it there. So really, really awesome list of books that will help you uplevel your money mindset. These are the ones that I've read, that I use, that I teach, they're awesome. And then of course you can join the NFA Money Mamas. Oh yeah, this group is the love of my life, along with, of course, my honey, my partner is the love of my life. But this community is like my gold, my jam. It makes me want to cry thinking about them, because they're my favorite humans on the planet, and I want you there too. If you're attracted to the stuff that I teach here, you will absolutely fit into the NFA Money Mama community. So just go to workwithdramanda.com, and you and I will have a conversation and see if it's a good fit, and I'll let you know how you can get in and how you can up-level your money mindset to attract easier money your way through dropping your negative self-comparison and becoming the most vibrant, light-filled entrepreneur on the planet, where you make huge impact and you make huge income and you love what you do. And instead of negatively comparing yourself to the other people, you see them as awesome companions on the universe who are up-leveling the vibe of the planet. And you see them as like, yeah, you celebrate them and you celebrate yourself, and you create win-win exchanges of love and light and make more and more money in your business. Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, it's been amazing to be with you here today. I'm sending you tons of love and light and high vibes when you drop that negative self-comparison. And until next time, NFA Money Making High Five.